All right, everybody, welcome back to On Cycle Reacts. We are here with another one. This is probably the most requested one we've had so far.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I feel like this is just a timeless show that everybody loves. Everybody wants to see it. It's almost like you don't pull away from it. And you can tell that, too, because DCI always posts up clips from this show, too.
I mean, it's an all-timer.
It really is.
It's a whole generation of newer DCI fans' favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
As well as an all-time favorite for a lot of old-time DCI fans.
Yep. Right? I think there are shows that every 3 to 4 years are like they're like a new generational show.
Yeah.
Right.
Think like Crown 13 and Blue Coats 14 got those.
Blue Coats 16, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tilt's a great one. You know, all those, they're all great. I mean, there's been a couple of really good ones over the last couple of years, but I think from Blue Coats that just won this past year in 2024 to this year to the 2018 show, there's no show in between. There's no show in between these two shows.
There's lots of great ones, but I don't think there's anything that have the staying power.
Not like these shows. So
all-time great. I'm even gonna say, if you haven't seen this show before, do yourself a favor and just watch it all the way through first, and then come back and listen to us. Because don't worry, you will want to watch it twice.
Yeah, I promise you. Yeah, you'll be okay. You can listen to us talk about it too.
All right, let's get started on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? Starting off with this cool, I love the props.
Atmospheric, very. Not theoretical. Theateristic. Very theateristic.
Right. Oh, I love the jacket. Such cool uniforms.
I love when a drum major is just, you can tell that dude is in it to win it.
Oh, yeah.
Great drum major this
year.
There's
a great video of them in the tunnel for the first time on California tour. They beat me.
Oh, yeah.
They're losing it. They're so excited.
I love this. This, again, artistically, this is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. The Peter Gabriel, just piano. And
well, I mean, this movement right here.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, this whole breathing, like, atmosphere thing, like, it's so cool.
I love all the whispers that you hear throughout. So it's about the Tower of Babel, right? And the tower falling and all the different languages and struggles to communicate. Right. So it starts off with just this cool somber tone and like this impending feeling that something's gonna happen. And also just one of those shows that's just like the execution is just so good for every single member.
Yeah. I mean, like those are not guard members; those are horn line members. Yeah.
Like one of those shows like Coach 24 that it did not just win on GE alone, like some winning shows did. It is the whole complete package.
Yeah.
GE, all of the writing, execution, every member given 100%.
Yeah.
Just
I saw this live. This is a pretty hit.
The runs.
Even the tuba run in that is clean.
So clean. I mentioned this about some shows before. This is one that just sounds angry. Just demanding that you give them a championship, right?
I love this tuba part here. Even walking up these stairs, those tubas are choreographed. It's slow, but it's meaningful. And it horns up. Tuba feature.
And the drill that everyone else is doing is just crazy.
That chord is
They won the gym out this year, and it's so deserved. One of the hardest brass books and most well-performed brass books I've ever heard.
Yeah. The general tuning in this is so hard.
So difficult, and they're playing so loud the whole time. Booking it backwards in the tubas. I love the ending part. The mellows.
So, as they're running around the entire freaking horn line or the drum line.
Not done yet.
Yeah, listen.
Ah,
One of the things that I forget all the time when I watch this show, and I don't know why I forget it, but this is this kind of stuff I talk about all the time when I talk about BD and hating them, right? Is that watch the Mellophone section play the hardest stuff in the show with doing an insane drill.
oh yeah.
It's
in this show
wild.
especially, they're crazy. The Mellophone. Everyone who knows this show knows the Mellophones
Are just disgusting.
I mean, I
they're
would struggle. This might be a good podcast episode topic at some point, but I struggle to think of a subsection more dominant
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
in all of DCI history than the Santa Clara Mellophones this year.
Yeah, they are unbelievable. Like if you're hearing all the color and all the craziness in there, if you don't know what a mellophone is out there, you're watching this maybe. If you're not hearing all the stuff that's all the runs, when we talk about runs, we talk about just the movement, like all that kind of stuff. That's all mellophones, and they're doing it while they're sprinting.
Yeah.
it's
And
unbelievable.
every time, if you don't know the balance of a DCI horn line, you usually have 24 trumpets, right? 24 baritones, each on a 3-part split. They usually got 16 mellows, and 16 are usually these 12 tubas,
More,
right?
yeah.
So you get 16 mellophones. You've got 2/3 of the size of the trumpets and baritones, which
Yeah.
can get real loud on those Yamahas. And yet, the mellophones, partially due to how the instrument's designed, and partially due to how this section is, are
they're
just
playing it.
cut through
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
They hit it's partially because they're all in unison as well, but they hit an F or a B flat in this show, and it's just there's nothing else louder on the entire field of DCI this whole year.
We're both mellophone players, so obviously we're going to geek out about the mellophones a little bit, but
We're also, though, we're living proof because we've marched a lot of years on other instruments, and yet we landed up on mellophone.
Yeah.
Because it's the best.
it's the best instrument. It really is. You know,
Right.
it's the best stuff. So let's
And this
go
whole
on.
year, do yourself a favor. Go back and watch the first few years, the previous few years of
the
Santa
years
Clara,
leading
and
up
listen
to
to
the
the
show.
mellophone. You will hear the mellophones at near the same exact quality that they are right now. It's just this was the first show to go.
Yeah.
What if we just make the whole thing a mellophone feature?
If you want to hear some of the great mellophone books too, go back and look at the early 2000 cadets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a few react videos of that.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Let's go to this crazy second movement as well.
Yeah.
I think not as much difficult moving around, but like crazy tonally and rhythmically.
Yeah.
This opening little hit.
I love this full body feature here. So cool. So simple.
Such a difficult combined feature right here. And they just swap in some more baritones for an even harder Barry feature.
I always say this is SCD taking a playbook out of the Blue Devils. Like, hey, you guys have features? Go sit on the side.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Well, they
But it
learned
works. It's such a hard feature because there's no like, the rhythm doesn't make sense the first time you hear it.
Yeah.
All right, and this one. Oh, there's like, hey, all the soloists, go nuts.
The baritones cover 5 octaves.
Yeah.
I love this part.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So low in the horn, too.
Yeah. All that bouncing, trying to play pedals.
Yeah. And you're very exposed.
Yeah.
I love the little.
I was just thinking that too. It's hard to see in this copy, but yeah.
That controlled swells and crescendos and decrescendos.
Controlled everything. I mean, the whole thing is
They're hard.
controlled today.
They're hard to do. As a person who spent this entire DCI tour,
Look how
just
fast the
working on,
mellophones are going through this.
oh yeah, just sprinting
And they do
backwards.
it that big circle.
Oh, and the
that's-
rotating, any time there's a rotating circle.
rotating circle that's eating
it to me.
the rest of the, I think it's the
Yeah.
trumpet line.
Also, I love the trumpet line doing like that whole like, they almost look like a Last Supper.
Yeah, they won the OT and they won Stanford this year too. This
Oh,
trumpet
yeah.
line's absolute fire. They're crazy.
Great transition music too in here. Like a nice little transition into that.
Staging,
Right?
the staging right there is really, really good too. Like
The
this is
staging in
just
this whole
this
show is
beautiful arc across the
legendary.
back. And you know, it's one of the things. Like I watched the show a bunch of times, and I went, you know, I want, because I try to stay true to how I feel about different shows here and there, and I love the show so much. But I went, I don't know, they're really not moving that much. But then I went back and like rewatched it again. I'm like, I think it's that they're staged so well, and they're moving so appropriately through everything that's going on, because they are moving. They're
Moving a lot.
fast, yeah. And they're-
Especially in relation to modern drum corps.
yes, correct. And there
less
is a
than
lot
10 years
more
ago.
drill in this show than I thought originally. And if you want to watch a better version of this, go find a high cam version of this show, and then you can really appreciate what the horn line's doing and what the color guard and the
Very geometric drill, very demanding drill at
it's
times.
very demanding drill at times, and it's more. There's a lot of demand going on when you aren't being the featured person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's exactly, they're doing what they do, you know, moving and playing at certain times or staying still at other times, honestly, based on what's most effective,
Yeah.
rather than just what's easiest or most difficult.
There is something difficult about moving and playing, obviously. There's also something extremely difficult about sprinting, because
Yeah.
any good drill writer's gonna be like, well, you're not playing here, so we're gonna make you run. But they forget at some point we have to stop running.
I have to put
and
the horn
then
back up my
play.
face and then play.
Then I'm like gasping for, I'm like
Yeah.
dying, trying. Then I'm like, okay, now play this beautiful, lovely lick that I
Yeah.
had to stick in here. Like, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So, you know, that being said, this ballad,
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but all-time great ballad. It's just, every movement is so good.
there are very few ballads.
It's crazy that
I don't know any
this
ballad.
is one of those shows that starts off so strong, and each movement only seems to get better.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Bells are going, hey, we can play quiet as well.
These baritone soloists are unreal.
I, for the longest time, didn't even realize when
was-
the second soloist came in
Oh.
because the tone
It's so
is
similar.
so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, obviously, they start trading back and forth. You realize there's one there, but
When you hear it live, they have it pumped through each side of the stadium, so it's easier to hear it that way too.
this transition here where they just go right to the next, oh, it's seamless. Hear a little bit in the stereo of the headphones too. And look at how fast the horn line is moving this
They're-
time.
they're-
And
they're
they're playing
hauling this.
backfield, so they are blasting right now. That's one of my favorite little parts. And this little tag at the end.
I watched them practice this next section here when they put their horns up and they
Oh,
click.
yeah. Here it is. Pillows.
That note is not a note.
Yeah. All right,
That-
all right. We just had to let the ballad play out.
Just
That
gotta-
was
I
one of
can't
those
talk
things-
over
If
it.
you start talking, I'm just gonna shut up.
I'm just gonna shut up now. Yeah, that little like horn line like click. I don't know
Click heard around the world.
what they're doing with it, but I watched them practice that for like 20 minutes one day, where they just stood there and it just went up,
Yeah. Well, so
down.
From my understanding,
It's,
the click is a thing that SCV has done for years on their horns up. They do very snappy horns up. Watch any show from the 2010s with SCV.
Yeah.
Their horn snaps are fire.
Yeah.
They're always like, whoosh. Watch a head cam. Always great. So they had this little snap up because they knew that was going to be the impact. I believe the story is partway through the season, they realized people could hear the snap sometimes if it was clean. They were like, oh, they love that.
Yeah.
They love hearing the little click.
Let's make it a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sure they were like, they probably changed the staging. They maybe, pumped some of the field mics or something so you could hear it better. I'm sure they practiced it a ton.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they practiced it.
Right. Because they were like, oh, this isn't just a horns up. The sound itself could be a moment.
Yeah,
right?
and it is. I mean, they worked it
so good.
So I had a friend of mine that I marched tuba with in 15.
Just watch it again.
He marched tuba in 15. He's actually in this show.
Oh yeah.
Well, so he's an alternate.
I got marched with in 17. I think his name was Tristan. He's in the tuba line for the show as well.
Yeah. So
Maybe
the guy
they're
I
best
marched with,
buds.
he was an alternate for this year. And but he got to march a couple of shows, and he still got his ring. And he went back. He went back in 19 and marched an actual.
That's
spot.
awesome.
But he was an incredible tuba player.
Every alternate, you should get a refund if you're an alternate and you did not get to march at least 1 or 2 shows.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then most corps are pretty good about that. Usually,
yeah. Every alternate at Blue Knights got to march several shows.
Yeah.
Even some of the ones that
they probably shouldn't.
It's just one.
Yeah,
No, I was very glad all the alternates got a chance.
Yeah, as they should, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's finish this thing off because
let's finish this now with a real snooze fest of a closer.
they're still flying.
Oh yeah.
And with that bent leg technique, that's got to be tiring.
Oh yeah. Although probably much easier on the knees.
Yes.
I will say I didn't mention
the upper
this,
body carriage.
I mentioned it here. I do have the one thing I don't like about the ballad is the ending trumpet note.
Oh yeah, it didn't do anything for me. It was too kitschy.
It feels like a party trick.
Yeah,
because it is.
Yep. But then they put it in again in 19.
Yeah. It was in tune at least, right? Yeah. For the closer. It doesn't. I loved it at first, and then I hated it, and now I just kind of don't like it, but it's fine.
Can I also say that the fact that I love that there's a girl in the snare line?
Yeah, I love girls in the snare line. We one of our Team Japan people was this tiny Japanese girl who was in the snare line in Night 17. She was our featured, like when you're going into the stadium, they put like a snapshot like Blue Knights. It was her just being like the whole time. It ruled. Clock breakdown.
I hate this part. This is my least favorite part.
It's cool, but it feels like a BD moment of like, why is there a club dance in here? Because you can?
Yeah. I do love the tuba part here, though.
And the dancing is very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. I can't do it.
They do the classic high school trick where they go, oh, do we have someone who can do a backflip?
And then it all hell
just breaks loose. Oh, yeah. Again, bringing that little that dissonance in right before it builds this big conclusion. So good.
And here comes the mellophones. Watch it come right up to 50.
Oh, greatest filter ever, maybe. Mellophones! Baritone just blasting. They hit like 4 C's at the end here. My God, their chops have got to be dead, right? No, but don't worry. Laser.
That F just crushing through everything.
Oh my God, yeah. You can hear the F pop here, ready?
That's so good.
It's so every
It's
time.
so, I have goosebumps from sitting there watching.
I know, right? I'm
It's
like,
so
what
good.
is this, like the 20th, 50th time that we've
It's got to be
seen
the
it?
700th time I've watched that show. I used to run to that show all the time. It was oh, I got 12 minutes to
It's
kill.
crazy good.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, for those of you that weren't there during like this season, right? Being, watching that unfold on tour,
Oh,
it was like we already knew they came out, and they, as a lot of modern cores do, they didn't have their closer on the field yet for the first couple of weeks. It was already like, oh, Santa Clara is a real contender,
right?
And they put the closer out, and we were like, I didn't know you could do that with a drum corps.
Yeah, it's. And you said this so many times too. One of the things I love about the show is simple geometric forms for props.
Yes,
this is a show that, I mean, look, there's not a single show that I've watched recent in the last 10 years that hasn't had a simple geometric shape for like a metal, whatever type thing, that this show isn't awesome.
Yep.
Because they're so easy to basically put them in and make them do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like there's that whole breathing section. All they are is just 4 platforms that are syncing to each other.
Yeah, all that is it's just stacking platforms with some ramps.
That's all it is. And then they have this awesome like setting here at the very end where there's just the whole horn line can be above. The guard gets to come along up front, be a feature piece.
And the horn line can be there and you can hear them. It can project all the way up to the stands.
Yeah.
It's like we said at the start. I pretty much bar none.
Yeah.
Maybe
oh my God.
Maybe the most well-designed show of the entire 2010s.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, the 2010s, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think it would be between that and like Crown 13, maybe. This one's more top to bottom.
I think Crown 15 is better designed than Crown 13, personally.
Depends on what
design-wise.
I get what you're going for.
Yeah,
right?
design-wise.
This is the full package of both
Yes.
general effect and competitive dominance.
This show,
like we've talked about with Blue Coats last year, right? Yeah. Just in like one of the most effective shows in any drum corps history, and also just every single member. It's a very demanding book for every member, and every member's crushing it.
Yeah, there's not a single section that isn't absolutely killing it in this entire show, and there's no weaknesses really. Can
I say we've gushed about the mellophones plenty, but like the baritone line in this year is it's just insane.
I say the same thing about the tuba line. Like I forget how incredibly impressive their tuba line is. Because there's only 12 of them, and then there's that whole tuba feature, then the breakdown dance thing, and I always forget.
Every section gets a feature.
I hate that dance thing because it's I don't know.
That's the one part that doesn't feel like it totally fits. I would agree.
It's just the old man in me coming out and going like, why are they dancing? I can't believe this crap. It just doesn't do it for me. But then I forget. I'm like, oh, the tubas are killing it. On the left there, just murdering stuff and just having a blast doing it. It's such a weird part, but it's so cool the way it fits into it.
It is.
I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
This show's so good. It's just so good.
Do you do me a favor? I just go back and just listen to the closer game, listen to the baritones, because they're just honking the whole time.
Yeah.
Honestly, just listen to this show a bunch of times, and every time pick a new section to watch or to listen to.
That's something I do very often is I go, I'm going to listen to the trumpets this time and just try and focus just on this.
Awesome.
I also think, like anything else, if you've watched this show a bunch of times and you haven't gone and watched just the upper view of the show.
Just the high cam.
Go watch just the high cam because you'll see 30 things you never knew were happening.
So many of, especially those 2010 shows that do benefit from zooming in. Yeah. You'll realize how much they benefit also from just pulling out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? All right, we've yapped enough.
Yeah, it's enough of that. Yeah, exactly.
This show.
Let us know what you think. Robbie and I, we've had all kinds of comments about where we believe this show stands in the history of the activity. Yeah. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
There's no reason why.
I would normally say, share your opinions, but if you do not like this show or you're objectively wrong, and this is the one thing I will fight you on.
Here's what's the thing: I've never met a single person who doesn't like the show.
Exactly.
There are people kind of like me with Blue Devils who go, I don't understand the hype, right? I don't get it, but there's nobody who says they don't like the show.
Yeah,
right?
I could see maybe more of the complaints just being that's overplayed.
So if there's a better show out there, tell me what it is. I'll watch it and I'll tell you you're wrong, and then we'll go about it.
There's a few shows that I could accept as being put as better.
You're gonna put some stupid ass Blue Devil show in there. Somebody would like, oh, Fellini-esque. All right.
I like Fellini-esque.
All right, that's it.
Yeah. Until next time, though, let us know what other shows we should react to. Until that time, off cycle.